Hey everyone, Thordan Smash here, and today we're going to be talking about how Respawn has said they plan to address Ashe and her nerfs in the future, along with the map problem which a lot of people are having where they can't really find anyone. So let's jump into it. So today's video, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have gameplay footage in the background because I am just enjoying the new map, and I really think that everyone should get a chance to see some of that while we talk. But let's go over what's going on with Ashe and why a couple pro players are upset. So with the newest legend Ashe, I find that she is, in my opinion, pretty balanced coming into the game. She's nowhere near as overpowered as Seer or Horizon were when they launched. However, pro players do still have some concerns. NICEWIGG went on Twitter and let us know that Ashe single-handedly making less teams alive round 2 on a map bigger than World's Edge than Kings Canyon ranked last split. And NOKOKOPUFFS agreed, it's just her passive that's an issue. It's like the map room on steroids. It completely defeats the purpose of a bigger map. And while I do agree that her passive is very good, I don't think it's as overpowered as everyone is expecting. In high tier lobbies maybe, but for the general player base, I don't think it's that big of an issue, especially with how spread out everything is on this map. I'd also like to note that a lot of people are doing Ashe and Wraith comparisons. However, I find that Ashe is much more similar to Loba, with her ultimate working very similar to the bracelet with an instant teleport. I know, yes, it looks like a phase, but it's much closer to Loba. Now, Respawn developer Josh Medina did open up his Twitter feed to allow for any feedback, and he got a couple from X Factor, such as visibility being an issue and the triple take is too strong, which I agree with. But Josh Medina also wanted to let people know that you need to take it easy on immediate nerfs and buffs, especially Ashe's passive. They need to get more data, and it may not be as overpowered for everyone, like I said, only in very high tier lobbies, which should also be addressed. But also keep in mind, Ashe's passive doesn't work in arenas for those that play it. If pro players continue to complain about Ashe's passive, you very well could see something happening to it by the time the collection event rolls around, but I do not believe we will be seeing something like Season 10 where they get nerfed in the first 2 weeks, especially with a new map and seeing on how this passive is going to work on World's Edge. But let's now talk about the new Stormpoint map and some of the issues it's facing, along with some of the great things about it. The first major problem that people are having with Stormpoint is the fact that they believe there is not enough loot on the map. However, Rodney Reese cleared that up, who's a Respawn developer, and said when World's Edge launched, people thought there wasn't enough loot, when in fact there was 1,000 more than Kings Canyon. The loot didn't adjust until Harvester. I expect the same earlier feedback for Stormpoint at launch. Trust me, there is plenty of loot on Stormpoint, and he was right, as players would complain about that. And I think something that also needs to very much be taken into consideration is that players still don't know the map yet. So you don't know where the high tier loot is. No one knows really where to go yet, and that is something that players are going to adjust to in the coming weeks. Speaking of things players need to adjust to, there is a problem that players have brought up, that the map is too big and you cannot find enough players. And there is a Reddit post that gained a lot of traction about increasing the player size on the map to 100 players. And the first thing to go over with this is, once again, this is a new map, so no one really has a hot drop spot located yet, or at least not that the entire player base knows about, along with no one knows exact rotations, no one knows how to work the circle quite yet, except for very high tier players. So it's normal on a map that is already bigger than the other ones and that no one is comfortable with quite yet to not know exactly where all the other players are, unless you're using Ashe with her passive. Haha. But what is really mind-boggling to me here is the fact that for the last 10 seasons, players have done nothing but complain about third parties, and by adding a larger map, they've actually alleviated that problem. But now you want to add more players to it, along with the AI wildlife, so now we can get third-partied well fighting off animals. That would be the opposite way to do this. It would be cool maybe to see it in a public setting, or even a limited time mode where they test it out. But for ranked, I actually think this is a great map, and the fact that you don't have to worry about third parties all the time, and it's more about true player skill. What are your guys' opinion? Does Ashe need a nerf, or is she totally fine the way she is? And how do you feel about the new map? Is it too big, or is it just fine and works well in the ranked meta? And until next time, legends, keep slaying the outlands. I'll see you out there.